Oh
Oh,
my.
Mr. Takei is ready. Oh my. I'm waiting for those bits. They're almost in, Lewis. They are almost in. And we're live. Happy Thursday to you, Lewis. Man, another Thursday. Feels like we just got done with a Thursday, doesn't
They
it?
come around like every 7 days, it seems like.
Well, they always seem to surprise you every single week. You're like, no, it's Thursday already.
This does not seem like a Thursday today. This is it seems like a Wednesday.
It seems like a Wednesday to you. It seems kind of feels like a Friday to me.
Huh.
I feel like I should just treat it like it's a Friday and just not do any work tomorrow. See if
How
anyone
about this?
notices.
How about if we meet in the middle?
So what Wednesday afternoon? Are we?
Call it a Thursday.
Okay, yeah, good idea. I like that
I'm
suggestion.
a uniter, not
you
a
are.
divider.
You really are. Uniter in chief is what I call you. You should be working for the White House. All right, let's wait for some people to pour in here.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
we got Dipsy Doo. We got Reese Grundy. He says, "Good to see you, gentlemen." Thank you, Reese. It's good to see you too.
Good to see you.
Good to see your smiling face, or at least your avatar. I can't really see what that is. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here today, gentlemen. A lot of stuff to talk about today.
Freaking tweet.
Oh, you want to tweet?
Yeah, let's
I'll
talk
send
about
you,
it.
I'll send you a tweet.
Or just,
Here's a
make
tweet
it
for you.
so.
What do you think about that, Mr. Takei?
Oh my.
He's vocal today. It is a good tweet. Oh, man, you know what? What is going on here? We're waiting for some more people to pile in. Maybe people don't care about the M2 MacBook Air.
Maybe they don't
People
care
are coming
about
in slow.
Johnny Ive. Johnny
Well-
who?
Well, the reason I thought that we should definitely talk about that is because it was like one of the top stories in Cult of Mac this week. And I thought that story was pretty significant, didn't you? The fact that he's going to be done, and not only that he's going to be done, but the reason he's going to be done, I was like, oh, this is interesting.
I mean, I didn't find any of it too surprising.
You didn't? I kind of
No.
did.
I mean, I to be honest, I felt like he's been checked out for a while.
Oh, well, he definitely has been. We're talking about Johnny Ive, by the way. Yeah, he's definitely been checked out for a while, but he was on retainer.
He was the good kind of checked out. Checked out and still receiving cash.
Yeah, he was cashing those checks and barely doing any work, and now he's like completely done with Apple. I just think that's interesting. We got Jeff Drew in here. You know what? We got a quorum, Lewis. I feel like we should go ahead and queue up Mrs. You Know Who, and let's get this show rolling because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Not a lot of time to talk about. I got to be walking out the door in 57 minutes. 57 minutes. So this show is not going mega long. We're not going to have a mega long show today. No 2-hour shows here today. We got Mario A. Sounds like what Leander's doing. Yeah.
Oh, that hurts a little.
Oh.
Oh my.
George Takei liked that one too. That was a spicy joke. All right, let me cue up Mrs. You Know Who. Oh, Mrs. D. Oh, Mrs. D, you're very chipper. Oh, yes, that delicious El Caney. He may not be working for Cult of Mac anymore, but he's certainly spending a lot of time in my apartment. Oh, God. Jeez. Didn't need to hear that.
He had two, not one, but two bylines this week.
He did? I saw one. I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, first of all, Leander's still alive. I can't believe it. And second of all, he actually did some work.
Alive and typing.
He's alive and he's working. Those two things rarely go together with Leander Caney. All right, let me see here. I think we're ready to roll. Let me cue up the music here, guys. We'll get going. We got a lot of news to talk about this week. I mean, we could just spend the next 10 minutes making fun of Leander Caney, which would be entertaining. But we do have to get through some Apple news here.
Really
We got a lot
not
of stuff to
fair.
talk about. All right. If you don't mind, Mrs. D, I'm going to get the music going, and let's get this thing moving. In 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to Hillcast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airflow Elijah. Join me today. Oh, where is he? When he's not disciplining Cult of Mac writers for typos and grammar mistakes, he has them taking turns as his personal ottoman. Just another one of the perks of running Cult of Mac's World Empire. He's the managing editor of Cult of Mac. Ooh, Lewis Wallace is here.
I definitely distance myself from that remark.
Do you use, now the question is, do you use one writer as an ottoman for both feet, or do you do one for each foot?
Jeez. Oh my God.
Oh, man. You know what? If you guys want me to, when we're talking about the MacBook Air, which we will be here in just a moment, I might talk a little bit about this little number right here, Lewis. This little number. You know what this is, Lewis?
Looks like a computer.
This little number right here. Oh, let me hold the right side up. This is a 14-inch MacBook Pro, Lewis. 14-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro. Oh,
Yeah?
yes. You know,
Where'd you find that under a tree or something?
Well, I'm not in the Cult of Mac World headquarters where they just throw things like this into the dumpster. I actually had to pay money for this.
Oh.
But I just got it, and it's kind of an impulse buy. And so far, I love it. I really love it. But maybe we'll talk more about that later in the show. Before we dive in here, let me just tell you, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to be doing a roundup of the M2 MacBook Air, which, you know, shocker, people love. You know, people come around. I've been saying this for weeks. It's the perfect computer for most people. And I think Engadget literally almost quoted me. So they'll be hearing from my high-powered legal team because I don't think I got any credit on the byline in that story. And we'll be talking about the end of an era, like truly the end of an era. Jony Ive cutting ties with Apple quietly happened this week. And his design firm, Love From, is not going to be giving any love to Apple. So Apple won't be getting any love from Jony Ive from this point forward. They are Iveless. And the story is kind of interesting, so we'll talk about that. We got some new emojis to talk about. Does anyone care about emojis? I don't know. I always find these stories interesting because it shows you what emojis are coming down the pipe, and you'll know that these are going to be landing in a future version of iOS. And we've got some interesting ones here, and we'll talk about those. And then we're gonna branch out. So it's kind of a light Apple News week, and so I thought we could do some general tech stories. And I found some interesting ones about, some toy tech from Hasbro. If you're in toys and collectibles, you might find this interesting. And then I've got one of the most insane auto stories that you've probably heard, period. I mean, some of the most weird auto tech stories that you've probably heard. And it's BMW, as you might have guessed. They're up to something. And I can't believe that they're even giving this a shot, but we'll talk about that. Before we dive in, let me thank myself for supporting this episode. And let me thank you for supporting Cult Cloth. Man, the Cult Cloth orders, they just keep coming in, Lewis. They just keep coming in.
Things don't stop getting dirty.
People are dirty, and their devices get dirty. Their glasses are dirty. Their lenses are dirty. They're getting new MacBook Pros. They're getting new Apple Watches. And if you need a way to keep your Apple Watch, your iPhone, your sunglasses, your glasses sparkling clean, check out cultcloth.co, cultcloth.co. They just really are a remarkable product. And they're made from a special fiber that has its surface area broken down, so it has lots of cracks in it, which drastically increases the cleaning power of these cloths. And they are densely woven as well. Like when you touch one, oh man, it's like, it's so thick and luxurious. It feels like a rich pelt of chest fur. I imagine that's probably much like Buster Heine's chest pelt, which I've never actually felt. But
thanks for clarifying.
One day I would like to. I imagine it probably works much like this, except these don't, smell of rich man musk and all sorts of tanning oils and that type of thing. But there's nothing that works better for keeping your technology, your glasses, your lenses sparkling clean. There's nothing that works better. They impressed me so much that I decided to start selling them years ago. I think it's been 6 years now. I think I released these when the Apple Watch came out, and people love them. People just love them. And our new Colt Cloth Duo, it has short fiber on one side, long fiber on the other side, so it's great for cleaning screens or for cleaning keyboards. Great for reaching down in the crevices around the case of your iPhone and pulling out all of that nastiness. Yes, Lewis.
Is it the mullet of cleaning cloths?
You could argue that, yes. You could argue that. In fact, I might trademark that. So, if anyone uses that in the future, I can have my high-powered legal team contact them. So when you place an order for Colt Cloth at cultcloth.co, you can use code CULTCAST at checkout, and you will get a free 8x8 carry cloth. And I thank you for your support. Not only are you going to get a wonderful product that you're really going to love, but you're also supporting me and supporting the show, which I appreciate. All right, Lewis, let's kick it off with the first story of the week. Let's talk about the M2 MacBook Air. The review roundup is in. Shocker, it's the perfect computer for most people. Wouldn't you say?
That seems to be the consensus.
Yep.
People seem to be actually all these reviewers, who got their advanced versions of these things, pre-release they seem to be struggling to come up with something negative to say.
They really are struggling. I think the main complaint that I saw was that it didn't have ProMotion, right? So the screen doesn't have ProMotion. And all the things that they're saying that so all the complaints are things that the MacBook Pro does. And I'm like, well, if you want all that stuff, that's why the MacBook Pro exists, because this is a MacBook Air. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so anyway, it's definitely a winner, right? The Verge and their thing said it's a success on virtually every level. Engadget called it arguably Apple's best laptop yet. I mean, they're like everything about it. Better screen, thinner, lighter design, better speakers, better webcam. Shocker there. Keyboard, trackpad, convenient charging.
All-day battery life.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's completely capable of doing everyday tasks that, 99% of people use a computer for. Just like the M1 version was. The M2 is better even yet. It lasts all day. It's crazy. I mean, it sounds like basically, the Goldilocks computer. It's the perfect one for everyone. What in the world happened to all the notes I put in there? You must have deleted them. That's great.
Did I? Whoops.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see. What did they say that was negative about it?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, because I've been reading all the reviews.
You memorized it,
and I didn't memorize it, but I have soaked it all in, and it's kind of like I said. Like the main complaint is basically that it's not a MacBook Pro, and actually, so one of the main complaints of the MacBook Air is a complaint that's similar about this beautiful 14-inch MacBook Pro that I have here. Right? Oh, you got it back. Good for you. Did you hit Control Z? Did it work?
I'm a master of that thing.
Man, good job. So I have the 14-inch MacBook Pro here. I just bought it. And yes, I also have a Mac Studio. And I don't know if I'm keeping both, but so far, I absolutely love this machine. But the problem with this machine is the same problem as the problem with the MacBook Air. So there's a great video by Max Tech where they compare the M1 Max 14-inch MacBook Pro to the 16-inch version. And they take off the bottom here, and what you can immediately see is like the heating pipes are way smaller, the fans are way smaller, the cooling capacity for this machine is reduced versus the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and in extended tests, you get far less performance, like up to like 35% worse performance with the 14-inch over the 16-inch in extended tests, so not quick bursts of renders like Final Cut Pro does, but people are complaining about the MacBook Air in that same regard. They're like, oh, it performs really well, but if you do extended performance tests, then the performance drops because there's no fan, and the M2 runs a lot hotter than the M1, and the M2 MacBook Air has to start throttling itself, which it was a surprise to me because I was not expecting the M2 to get as hot as it does, but it does get hot. It has no fans, which ironically, I kind of made fun of the M2 MacBook Pro for having fans because I thought it wouldn't need them. Well, it turns out it does need them because the M2 gets so hot. And since the M2 MacBook Air doesn't have a fan, it's just passively cooled, it starts to throttle. So if you are going to use this machine for everyday computing, just normal stuff, even editing in Logic, you're probably going to be fine. But if you're planning on using this in Final Cut Pro, just know that if you do extended sessions where your computer heats up or you're doing long exports or something, then it's going to throttle and your performance is going to suffer. So that's like the main complaint that I've heard. That and the, let me see if I can pull this up. There is that new dark coating M2 MacBook Air, which, you don't have to get, but that dark blue coating that they have. Let me see if I can find
I don't even know what you're talking about. Dark blue coating.
Yeah, they've got a color. They've got this new color. It's like a dark blue color. And everyone's complaining that it shows midnight. It's called midnight. Everyone's saying that it shows fingerprints really easily. So, there's that.
Is that really blue? Or is that black?
It's like a very dark blue. It's a very dark blue. Yeah, this shows it. And apparently the thing is just an absolute fingerprint magnet. Which, is not unique to the MacBook Pro. It's anything that's dark that is a dark metal like that, just shows fingerprints.
Black car is famous for it. I didn't realize that was blue. I thought it was black.
Well, it's
Yeah.
midnight. It's like
Oh,
a dark,
jeez.
dark. It's like a darkish
I
bluish
have to go to a
black.
store and look at one of these.
Yeah. So there's that, and then there's no promotion. But other than that, I haven't heard a single complaint. People love it. And I got to say, man, we're going to talk about Johnny Ive here in a sec. But having Johnny Ive, I don't know if this is a result of Johnny Ive being gone, but like this new design language they're using, this new aesthetic, it is so reminiscent of the PowerBook G4 Titanium. I mean, like the boxiness, like the squared off edges, like the port orientation and everything. The fact that it's much more like a Swiss Army knife, like Johnny Ive seemed like he was the one driving the thin and light movement, right? No ports, you don't need them, dongles for everything. And that era is over now. And I'm looking at this new MacBook Pro, and I am in love like I was when I had the G4 Titanium. Like, it has the SD card slot. It has the Thunderbolt port. It has HDMI. It has the MagSafe, and I can't tell you like what a huge addition that is. I haven't even really used the MagSafe yet, but the nice thing is it comes with the MagSafe cable, and the MagSafe cable just plugs into any USB-C charging port, so you can use the Apple charger, or you can use like a cheap one that you bought off Amazon, and then you have the option to use MagSafe, or you can just plug USB-C right into the computer itself to charge it, which is what I've been doing. So now you have options, man. Like
You have MagSafe and you're not even using it.
well, I have it out in my house where it gets the most foot traffic, because that's it.
Oh.
If it's gonna get pulled off a table,
Gotcha.
that's where it's gonna happen, right? Like in the house. But like out here in the Colt Command Center, I don't really need it because there's no foot traffic. So out here, I just use USB-C. But that's the thing that you didn't get in the Johnny Ive era, Lewis. Options. All the options got removed. Johnny Ive.
They made all the hard decisions for you.
Exactly. They made all decisions for you, and you had Phil Schiller saying that the SD card slot wasn't a professional port. I mean, just crazy stuff. And now this thing is so. This is just my first impressions of the 14-inch MacBook Pro. And I know it's been out for months, but I just decided to buy one because I have this Mac Studio over here that you've all been hearing me talk about for months, and it just sits there because I realized I need portability. And as much as I love the Mac Studio, I find that I'm often not in the Colt Command Center when I'm doing work, and so it just sits there unused. In fact, I'm thinking about selling it. I don't think I'm going to, but I'm thinking about it. And using this 14-inch MacBook Pro as my main computer, and then the Mac Studio as my production machine, right? Which is kind of why I got it. But so yeah, the trade-off is performance. You are getting ultimate portability with the MacBook Air, obviously, but it's going to throttle. And if you're planning on squeezing every last ounce of performance out of the MacBook Air with the M2, that's not going to happen. Same with the 14-inch MacBook Pro. It has the same problem as the MacBook Air. It can't cool fast enough to get the full performance out of the chips that are going into it. So if you want the best performance in a mobile computer, you got to get the 16-inch MacBook Pro. That's the only computer where you get the full performance spectrum, because it can adequately cool the chips that are going inside it. What do you think, chat? Did I nail it? Best config for the M2 MacBook Air? Oh, well, the one thing I will mention is definitely get the 512 megabyte. Get the 512 megabyte SSD. It's expensive. 512 megabytes, it ain't cheap. Get the 512 gigabyte version of the MacBook Air, because Apple has gotten ahead of this one since it was discovered in testing that when you get the 256 gigabyte version of the M2 MacBook Pro, your performance basically is cut in half from a SSD perspective, because you only have one chip instead of two that it can write to at the same time. So get the 512. So I would either get the 512 or the 1 terabyte if it were me. And I'd probably get 16 gigabytes of memory, just because why not? You're definitely going to use it at some point. And then I would call it good there. But now you're looking at a $1,700 computer. Oh, is this? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I didn't even know there was. I was looking at it. I didn't see the 1 terabyte option. So $300 extra for the 512, right?
Yeah.
And another 2 for 1 terabyte. Another 6
$600
for 2 terabytes.
Okay, chat. Here we go. Here's a question for you. So I usually have been trying to get 2 terabytes because I hate
Jeez.
being limited, right? Like many of you, I hate being limited, but it's expensive to get 2 terabytes. I got 2 terabytes in the Mac Studio, and I feel like that's like just the right amount of space from a value and performance perspective where I can edit and stuff on it. I don't have to constantly offload stuff from the SSD to make space for new content. And I only got 1 terabyte in the 14-inch MacBook Pro, which is really kind of eating at me. I'm like, did I make a mistake? Should I have gotten the 2 terabyte? And the solution that I hear people say is, well, just get a external SSD, and you can use that for your video editing solution. Do any of you guys do that? Like, do you actually have an external SSD that you use, and then you use that for video editing or to keep all of your other files? Because to me, that seems like kind of a, an annoying trade-off. And those SSDs aren't cheap, so it seems like you're spending the same amount of money to put together like an external SSD. You might get a little extra space, and now you can use that SSD with anything, so that you do have some more utility there. But would you rather have 2 terabytes, just pay the money, get the 2 terabytes in your Mac, or spend less money on the SSD and then buy like some kind of like external storage solution? Let me know what you think. I'm really on the fence. Like, part of me is like, maybe I should return this and get 2 terabytes, but I'm like, dude, I already have a Mac Studio sitting here with 2 terabytes, and now I got this too. It feels a little bit bougie, to be honest with you.
How much storage space do you really need? I mean, geez.
I mean, shoot,
like
a 4K video of B-roll, I mean, that might take 100 gigabytes, no problem.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it really eats up a lot of storage.
That is kind of shocking.
Yeah, so I mean, depending on how much footage that you take. But so the other thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a 10 gigabit NAS storage solution in the Colt Command Center. So I just bought like this. You guys want to see something? I haven't.
Oh no, guided tour.
Here's another piece of gear you guys might like. A new piece of equipment. I purchased this. I should have asked them to send me one since I'm talking about it here on the show. This is an 8-port 10G gigabit switch, right? So this is totally unique because most of the time when you have a switch that's capable of 10G, they have like these SFP plus ports, which are like these arcane connections that no one uses unless they're like in a data center or something. And the thing about this is it's a 10G switch, right? So you can connect 10G devices to it and get full speed. But everything is just an Ethernet port on the front, like a regular Ethernet port, and there's 8 of them on this thing, which is totally unique. I don't know if there's another product out there that does this. This thing's $400. It's a 8-port, what do they call it? I'm not going to say the name. I guess I will. TLSX 1008. Rolls right off the tongue. So I'm thinking about building
TP-Link.
It's TP-Link, yeah. I totally should have reached out to them. Maybe I should. Maybe I still should get another one.
It looks like it's unopened.
It's yeah. I haven't even installed it yet.
It's
like most of the things that I get here to the Colt Command Center, they just sit here in the shrink wrap.
Jeez.
But I'm thinking about building like a 10G data storage solution in the Colt Command Center so that I don't have to worry about storage space anymore. Then you could just edit directly off of the NAS. But now we're talking like way big money, and so I'm trying to figure out how to do this without spending a ton of money. I think I kind of figured it out, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. So we got Jason Autry here. He's saying AirFund isn't working on more than 1 video at a time. 1 terabyte is plenty. That's actually not true. I do work on more than 1 video at a time. That's the thing. It's like if you only do 1 video, then you'll probably be fine with 1 terabyte. But usually what happens is I'll have like 2 projects in flux. And as many of you know, for the last 18 months, I've been reviving my YouTube channel.
Super flux.
Super fluxing. Level Remix, 1 terabyte is plenty of space for video editing. I moved the project to an external once I'm done with it, but yeah, I use a NAS as well. So yeah, that's yeah, you could do that. It's just more management. So I would like to have the flexibility of having multiple projects on the same machine. The one thing I'm not doing with this 14-inch MacBook Pro and also with the Mac Studio is I'm not allowing it to download my photos library, because my photos library is like 1.6 terabytes. And so when you allow it to do that and it starts downloading all those images from iCloud, it only downloads low-res images, but it eats up like hundreds of gigabytes. And I'm like, that just sits there and it's unused. You know what I've been doing, Lewis?
God only knows.
This is somewhat blasphemous. Is I installed iCloud on my PC, which has all these hard drives attached, and I'm just downloading the photos to my PC instead, because I don't really need to have them on my Mac. I just want to have them somewhere so that they're backed up, because I had that problem a long time ago where Apple basically screwed up my iCloud photo library, and I lost a bunch of fidelity in a bunch of my images. And they're like, have you backed up your library anywhere? I'm like, no, that's what I thought I was paying you for.
Isn't that
Aren't
what
you
iCloud
the backup? Like, isn't that why I'm paying you? Because your iCloud photo back. I mean,
terrible.
isn't that the whole point? And so a bunch of my images are super pixelated now because they just, I don't know if they lost like the original resolution or something. So now I'm like, you got to have your photos backed up somewhere. I'm doing all the talking here, Lewis.
Well, you've gone
You're being
pretty
a
deep
great
in the
sport.
weeds with this storage stuff. Gee whiz,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, the storage
out
thing
of my
is like,
element here.
it's definitely a challenge. You got to figure out exactly what you're gonna do, storing all this video, and I mean they make like this huge contraption called like a jelly squid or something. I forget what it's called.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's like a giant tower that has it's like a computer, but it has all these hard drives in it, and you can work off of it and edit directly off of it, and it will also back up all your data there. It's like what the big YouTubers use. And it costs like $50,000, to manage all your data and also be able to edit it at the same time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to spend. I'm not Marquez Brownlee where I spend like, $60,000 on a lens, $40,000 on a camera. He's got a $250,000 mechanical arm that he uses to like take B-roll of the stuff in his videos. It's crazy, man. I mean, the guy's like such a millionaire. He's made so much money off YouTube that he doesn't even know what to do with the money. He's just spending it on all sorts of crazy gadgets.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, so
If you only had a mechanical arm.
I'm working on that, Luce. I'm working on that. All right, so there's the MacBook Air. It's the perfect computer for most people. And if you're listening to this, it may not be for you because you're probably into like, I don't know, content creation or whatever. But if you're not, then I just think the M2 MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, is going to be the best computer for most people. It's got that new design language. People love the screen. It's only 60 hertz, but whatever. I mean, I think 120 hertz is esoteric to most people. They don't know what it means. They don't care. And I don't even know if they'll notice. But I will say this. If you got the extra money, the 14-inch MacBook Pro is really nice. It's got that mini LED screen, and it makes a difference. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, that looks a lot more like OLED than it used to. All right. Airfun has storage FOMO. Oh, dude, I could do a whole YouTube channel on storage. I just there's something about storage solutions that really intrigues me, like NASes and editing bays and that type of thing. But the thing is like no one gives a crap about storage solutions.
Is your house just filled with closets? Do you have like
Unfortunately not.
15 extra closets?
No, man, my house was built in 1954, and apparently back then they didn't care or need closets. So I think we have I think we literally have like 2 closets in my whole house. There's no space to store anything, which is one of the reasons why we ended up building the Colt Command. It's really a tower, the Colt Command Tower, because below me is probably 200 square feet of storage, and that was the original conception of the Colt Command Tower. We were going to build storage out there. And then we were like, well, shoot, if we're going to build, like, let's build up another level and then I can have my own, Colt Command studio out here. And that's how the whole thing started. I dug this freaking ditch across my whole yard because I didn't want to pay a plumber like $80 an hour to dig this ditch. So I spent like 2 days doing it. So I could lay all like the pipes and everything.
Do you have a moat?
No, it's been filled in.
And no turrets?
Oh, I have active turrets, yeah.
What about gargoyles?
There's no gargoyles, but if you come onto the property uninvited, you better be willing to dodge some bullets because the turrets are active. They're like those. They're like that giant Gatling gun in Terminator 2. when he's firing out the window of Cyberdyne Systems at the helicopter. No, I don't know why I make movie references for you.
Gee whiz.
Somebody in here gets it. I wish the MacBook Air would come in iMac colors there. Norbert Frasa. Yeah, I get it. The colors are not my favorite either. I wish that they would make the MacBook Air a little bit more colorful. I wish they would make the iPhone a little bit more colorful. I'm so tired of silver, space gray, and, well, silver and space gray if you have a MacBook Pro. I would love to see some more color variety. Level Remix, T2, he gets it. Someone here gets my movie references, Lewis. Let's see here. Jim Zaros Official says, I remember you mentioning the story about losing some photos in iCloud photo library, and since then, I was so terrified I stopped using it, and I back up my photos to an external hard drive, like good old days. Yeah, man. That's a story that surprised me. So for those of you that don't know what he's referring to, I think I kind of mentioned this briefly. So I use iCloud photo storage like the rest of you do, and I noticed that a bunch of my videos and photos were missing, and then some of them were really low resolution. And I contacted Apple, and they didn't really know what to do about it. They're like, well, do you have your stuff backed up anywhere? And I was like, no, you're my backup. That's why I'm paying you. And they had me download my whole library, and ultimately they were able to fix the videos not working, but a bunch of my images, they basically no longer have any of the original versions. They just went poof. So, yeah, I would absolutely recommend backing up your entire iCloud photo library somewhere, whether it's on a Mac. A lot of people don't know this. You can do it on a PC. So if you have like a PC tower, you can install iCloud there, and then you can have it download all the original images to your PC. And that's what I do now, and then put it on a NAS or something. Do not trust Apple with it. Don't trust Apple with it. Jeez. Apple iCloud photo storage is super convenient and usually works really well. And there's nothing else that really works like it from a convenience perspective, but I don't think it's as safe as storing your files on a hard drive or on a NAS or something. And then I would even back up those files somewhere else. Just
some other cloud service?
Yeah, probably. I mean, because just think, this is your life, man. Like, these are all your videos. These are all your pictures. How would you feel if you lost all that? You would probably be devastated, like especially if you have kids. So I would do whatever you had to ensure that you're not going to lose that stuff. And I think that if Apple loses all your stuff, I'd have to read the user agreement, but I think you're basically SOL. Like, they don't owe you anything. I think maybe they have to give you a refund on your iCloud photo payment, but they're not going to like give you a settlements or anything, I don't think. So you got to make sure you take care of yourself. And I think iCloud photo storage is great. I just wouldn't put all of my trust in it. All right, Lewis.
Gotta keep moving.
We gotta keep moving. Sorry, we lingered too long. Johnny Ive, he's gone, Lewis.
Fully gone.
He's fully gone. It happened this week. Apple and Jony Ive have parted ways. He's no longer consulting with the company, I guess you could say. And it seems like it might have been like a mutual agreement, but perhaps more on the Apple side than on the Jony Ive side. So, you know that Jony Ive left the company in 2019 to form his own firm, Love From. That was 2019, Lewis. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Holy cow. I cannot believe it's been that long. And at the time, he said, I hope that, while I will not be an Apple employee, I will still be very involved. I hope for many, many years to come. Ive said at the time, well, he made it 3.
Many, many. I'm sure he did. You start hearing the terms of this thing. Yeah, I'm sure he did think he'd like to be involved for many, many years.
Yeah, when you're just cashing those checks. Yeah, so he goes on to say, the story does. Sorry. Cupertino slipped him a pair of golden handcuffs, paying him a rumored $100 million for a multi-year consultant contract, mostly to prevent him from working for competitors, which might have been a smart move. Apple was reportedly Love From's major client, with Ive consulting on the 24-inch iMac, an ongoing secret Apple Car project, among other things. But Ive and Apple recently decided not to renew the contract, according to the New York Times. Why the breakup? Apple executives reportedly balked at Ive's consultancy fees, And some became upset at the number of designers that left Apple to join Love From. I think there was 4. Oh, yeah, it says right here. Apple reportedly hired at least, or Ive reportedly hired at least 4 former Apple industrial designers to join him. I bet you that really chapped TC's hide. You know, they're paying him $100 million, and he's also, I don't want to use the word poaching, but he's worked with these people for, 20 years? I mean, it's only natural that some of them want to move on with their boss. And so they did. After Ive's departure from Apple, the storied industrial design studio has been taken over by Evans Hankey. And I hear there's a lot of hanky-panky going on there, Lewis.
Oh, good grief.
A longtime member of the design team. Alan Dye now leads software design, and then Apple COO Jeff Williams oversees both teams. Thoughts on the news, Lewis?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was it was kind of surprising to hear that he's still, I mean, I know that we all knew that he was still, working with Apple, but I mean, it seemed like for years before he actually left, he had been sort of checked out. So, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to tell. Like, Leander was writing about this week. He was writing like, well, these latest designs, I mean, were these actually Johnny Ive designs? Or, the thinking has kind of been like, oh, this is sort of like the post Johnny Ive thing, right? Like more ports that people actually want. And maybe even slightly thicker things, slightly thicker iPhone, slightly thicker computer. So what exactly was he doing? I mean, that's the thing that was not addressed in this at all. What exactly impact did he have on anything at Apple ongoing? And I read the original story in the New York Times. There's no information about that, right? It's like he's been pulling down, I mean, $100,000 over 3 years. That's a fair amount of money. And what did he do? Was he looking at, cloth swatches for the interior of a car? What was he doing?
He probably was doing some of that stuff, helping them. Yeah, he designs multiple things, doesn't he? I mean, I know one of his major clients now is Airbnb. And I was like, that's kind of a weird partnership. Like, what is he doing with Airbnb?
I know. Yeah.
And he's helping them design products, quote unquote. And then he's
their website.
Yeah, right. Because Airbnb doesn't have a product; they have a website. Their product is people who rent their homes and houses on the platform, right? But he also helped design the industrial design team. So I think that is probably one of his greatest superpowers at this moment, is helping a company build a design team that creates compelling products. I think that is probably the thing that he probably helps with the most. It's funny. So Jason Autry in the chat, he says, am I the only one who's not at all upset that Johnny being gone? I don't know. All I can say is this. I don't know what Johnny Ive was doing, but I think he became a victim of his own tastes. Like, he just became, he's incredibly talented, but people like that, they become so immersed in what they do, and they're so talented that the things that they become attracted to are not things that regular people are attracted to. You know what I mean? It's because he's been doing this for so long. It's like a cook. Like, some of these cooks, they're so eccentric. They've been doing this for so long that their taste buds are only satisfied by these complex dishes with ingredients that no regular person would want to eat. Actually, here's a better example.
Oh, no.
Here's a better example. Do you know who Dave Matthews is, Lewis?
I'm familiar with the name.
Okay. So Dave Matthews Band, been around forever. I was a huge fan for a long time. And he had this guitar player. Oh, man, what's his name? Dave Matthews, Tim. I forgot his name. I can't believe it. Tim Reynolds. Tim Reynolds is an incredible guitar player, and he's a very good acoustic guitar player. And there's this album, Live at Luther College, Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds Live at Luther College. If you have never heard of it, go check it out. And Tim Reynolds is so good. He creates these unique audio scapes for Dave Matthews music, but he needs to be reined in, man. Like, and I think that Dave Matthews was almost like Steve Jobs in a way, where it's like, this is a really cool design, but it's kind of eccentric. Like, you need to pull this back so that normal people can digest this. I went and saw Tim Reynolds by himself in a concert years ago. And it was one of the most bizarre concerts I've ever seen. He was making like weird robot sounds on his guitars and creating like siren sound effects. And this music, quote unquote, that he was creating transcended regular music. Like normal people, I was like, this sounds like sound effects now. Because he was so good that the things that he was into were like these eccentric guitar techniques that no one actually wanted to hear him play. But he was into them because regular music bored him. And I feel like maybe that's what happened to Jony Ive. I'm taking the long road here in this analogy. But I feel like maybe that's what happened to Jony Ive. Is like regular stuff just didn't satisfy him anymore. And so his designs kept getting like more and more esoteric. And when you create laptops that have like 2 single ports on each side for no other reason other than you feel like it creates a beautiful looking design, you make everything thin and light. So much so that it causes problems in your iPhone 6 because they bend. There's all these problems that could have been avoided. And I feel like, I don't know if this is Evan's hanky influence, but Apple's returning to an era where their computers are functional again. Like they're still beautiful. They might be a little thicker. They might be a little bit heavier, but they have ports that you can use. They have like more power. They have more battery life. Like everything about them now is better. And they're not all about just being thin and light. You know, it's not all about beauty. Beauty has to be a part of it, but it can't be the entirety of it. It can't just, like, the point of a computer is not just beauty. It has to be functional too. And I feel like since Jony Ive departed, we're heading back towards functionality, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've never met the guy. I would love to meet him sometime and just to actually talk to him and see what he's like. Because Leander has met him, and he says he's a very normal guy.
Yeah.
Just like very, just nice guy. Like not like he doesn't talk like those voiceovers that they used to play at the Apple keynotes, right? Like the voice of God. It's not like that. He seems like a normal person with normal interests and stuff, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's very curious to me. Like, what does a company like that? I mean, one of the other the Airbnb thing always threw me for a loop. Like, what are they doing for Airbnb? But he also works with Ferrari, right, and some other high-profile things. So, I don't know. It just sounds like the whole last part of his time at Apple was quite bizarre. I mean, there were stories of him like operating basically his own. Out of his own house, this studio right out in the back when people were coming. He was barely even going down to the campus. And there's all these kinds of like weird rumors about a slightly dysfunctional relationship or something, and it just always sounded to me like he was like kind of over the whole thing, So,
yeah, I get it, man. I think he was just done. Anyway, Jony Ive's done. The one thing I wanted to show real quick is this is the G4 Titanium. And this looks exactly like the style is exactly like the new MacBook Pros. This is definitely where they got their inspiration from. Even from like the black keyboard deck and everything, the boxy design with the ports on the side. And the new MacBook Pros are this style reborn, which is one of my favorite styles. Okay, Lewis, look, we're going on too long.
We gotta get moving here.
We gotta get moving here. I gotta be walking out the door in 16 minutes. Okay,
wow.
So. Which one of these stories should we do? Before we move on, you want to do the giveaway real quick?
Got to do the giveaway.
Okay.
This week we're giving away five of them, magnetic stands for iPad Mini 6. Kind of a niche product, right? Like you got to have an iPad Mini 6 to want one of these. But they're great little stands. They're from Lulu Look, and these things they're magnetic. You put it on there, it basically turns into like the world's smallest iMac.
Look at that!
Right?
Yeah, you can move your iPad all over too, like you up and down, all the way over.
Spin it around, rotate it. Yeah, blah blah blah. It's great. If you want to use it like a computer, or if you want to just have a stand so you can watch video or something on it.
Yeah.
These things go for $80. We're giving away 5 of them. Thank you to Lulu Look for teaming up with us for this giveaway. To enter, just go to the cultofmac.com homepage, scroll down to the giveaway area. There it is. You'll see you can enter. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can visit Lulu Look's, Facebook page or something. There's, a variety of ways you can enter. Always free to enter. Always a giveaway on the homepage. So we encourage you to enter.
You got a chance. You got a chance to win.
It might pay off for you.
I'll give you that.
Especially with something like this, because I mean, there's not that many iPad Mini 6s out there, right?
You mean accessories made for iPad Mini?
No, there's not that many people that own one.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. I love the iPad Mini 6. I wish I had a reason to buy one. But
tons of people love them. My point is, because it's not like an iPhone case, right? So there's fewer of these in the market, so there's less demand for it. So you have an even better chance of winning.
All right, so go to cultofmac.com and scroll down. You'll see the area to enter the giveaway if you want to enter to win one of these. Let's see here. Should we just mention the emojis real fast, Lewis? We got to blast through these. Maybe we could blast through these last 3 stories really quick.
Yeah. Let's just burn through it. So this list came out this week. 31 proposed new entries, including a shaking face.
That's what that is, by the way. For those of you
which is
watching,
one of the weirdest looking things
it's like
I've
a very
seen.
blurry face, and I had no idea what it was. I guess it's a face shaking back and forth.
I thought it was like a possessed face.
It could also be that, yeah.
It's there's also hearts in a range of colors.
Look at those beautiful hearts. You got a blue one, a gray one, and a
they're really
pink
pushing
one.
the envelope with the colored hearts.
Yep.
A donkey, finally.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
A jellyfish, a moose.
You got a raven, a moose, a goose.
There's some good things in there. You
got some ginger there.
Yeah. But
some maracas.
Actually, the maracas look really cool.
They do. They look great.
Of course, all those designs are proposed. Who knows what they actually look like? Everybody comes up with their own versions anyway. But
yeah.
So these are probably going to get approved. I think September of this year, and probably show up in iOS and everything next year. But one of the things that this article was, our article was talking about, is how, geez, there's hardly anything on this list. I mean, other years there's been hundreds.
Yeah.
So it's it's sort of like, geez, we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel, I think, is and so it got me thinking, what emojis do we need? And the only one I can think of for sure, just right off the top of my head, was we need a weed emoji. What else do we need?
I'm surprised that we don't have that.
I know. I was actually I went and searched to see if we did, but there's not.
And I like this hand here. Now the
oh yeah, right.
So it's funny because the story says this is a high five hand, but to me this is you're talking to the hand.
Talking to the hand.
Exactly. That's what it is, right? Because that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like a high five hand because you wouldn't high five with your hand turned up like that on your wrist. Yeah, no one high fives like that.
Be painful.
Yeah, that's what you're talking to the hand. Girlfriend. I might actually use that one. Whenever you send me something I don't like, you're getting that emoji back.
Yeah, I reckon I'll see
quite
a bit of that one.
The face ain't listening, Lewis. All right, so there you go. New emojis on the way. There's all your Apple news this week. Yeah.
Very curious to hear what people have to say about what emojis we actually need. What emojis don't exist that should be on this list instead of this wacky collection of kind of leftovers. And I mean, that shaken face, come on, that's crazy.
Yeah, that one does not look like anything to me. I would not actually. Now that you say it, I guess maybe it looks like a shaking face, but like you're shaking your head back and forth like you're saying no. But
it's terrible.
I had no idea what that was. It looked like a monster out of Zelda, to be honest. I had no idea what it was. Alrighty, let's move on. One thing I wanted to mention real quick. So we're moving out of the realm of Apple news and just into general tech stuff. Now you guys can't see this, but I'm surrounded by toys in this office. I got all sorts of like Amiibo and like dolls and figurines. I don't know how I became this guy. Actually, I kind of do. I saw a video of the Bad Robot offices, and the production company Bad Robot, and J.J. Abrams was in the lobby, and they had all these glass cases full of like beautiful toys from movies and like replicas and stuff. And I was like, dude, I love that stuff. And so I started building up a little collection myself. I got a bunch of Nintendo stuff. I've got some tchotchkes from like some of my favorite video games. And then I saw this pop up this week, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Now, I'm not a huge G.I. Joe guy. I used to play with G.I. Joes when I was a kid, but it's not a franchise that I really follow that closely. But Hasbro is offering a new line of G.I. Joe toys that will 3D print your face onto your very own action figure. What do you think about that, Lewis?
It's pretty wild.
Got a Wonder Woman Lewis Wallace coming out, maybe?
Great.
It's funny. So the story goes they had a contest at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, and they were going to offer to custom make these. You could win a 3D printed toy that they would make in your image, and they said it was so incredibly popular that they were like, whoa, we're on something here. And so they are working with this other company. What are they called? The Hasbro Selfie series is what this toy line is called.
Form Labs.
They're working with Form Labs to turn the project into a viable way of making customized, mass-marketed products. And I think that's pretty interesting, man.
So,
like, if you could make yourself into like a Ghostbuster, like this character here. Now, these characters are $60 each, which that seems expensive, but in the world of collectible toys, I feel like that's in the line of what you would pay for like a really nice collectible toy, maybe even more. So $60 to like make yourself a Ghostbuster or a G.I. Joe or something, like that might actually be worth it. What do you guys think, chat?
That's kind of odd reading this story. I mean, it sounds like they're gonna send it to you in a box, right? I actually thought it was just gonna be like the action figure shows that, you buy an action figure and you pop out the head and you 3D print your own head at your house. But no, they're talking about
they're gonna send this to you just like a real toy, and you can become an X-Wing pilot, a Ghostbuster, a Power Ranger, Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe, amongst others. I think this could be a huge market. Like, imagine if you could make yourself a toy and you're in like the Harry Potter universe or something with all the same clothes and everything. That's something that kids would love.
With all these things though, like, you always see like the action figures based on the actual actors, and you look at it and you're like, that looks nothing like them. So
that's true.
So you're gonna
like
you're
a lot
gonna
of
order
times
this
like,
thing
dude,
and you're gonna get it. You're like, what?
Like, what the? Why am I cross-eyed? Yeah. In fact, I have a Rick Grimes action figure up here, and do you know Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead? And he literally is cross-eyed. Like the toy, they must not like aligned his eyes right, and he looks like he's cross-eyed, which is really funny. It makes him look less threatening, but other than that, it's a really beautiful action figure. But yeah, they do get it wrong sometimes. Don't
So
they?
many zombies, I've gone cross-eyed.
There's twice as many zombies. What happens? Yeah, Level Remix says sounds awesome. Dipsy D says I collect pop figures because I'm scared of Alzheimer's. I don't know what that means. You want a link, guys? You guys want to check this out? If you want to, I'll post it in the chat in the show notes, of course. And let's wrap up with this story before I let you all go. Here we go. You knew it was going to happen eventually. Maybe you didn't. But Lewis hasn't read this story. So I was going to get his reaction live on the show. BMW, man. They make cool cars, admittedly, but they are testing out some stuff that I think is going to just annoy everyone who buys a BMW. So to this point in history, when you buy options on a car, you spend the money, you get the options, and you get to use those options as long as you own the car. Oh, but BMW, they've got some better ideas for you. How about paying BMW a subscription fee to use your heated seats, or to use your cruise control, or to use your heated steering wheel feature? Now, I don't know if they're going to sell their cars with all these features and then make you pay a monthly subscription, or if they're going to force you to buy these as options and then also pay to use them, which I think is absolutely insane. But BMW has a bunch of subscription plans now in effect for their various features in their car. Now, these aren't in the US. They're I think they're testing them in other countries. But this is coming, I think, to BMW, to a car near you. I'm gonna read from the story here. The Verge is the one that has the story. BMW is now selling subscriptions for heated seats in a number of countries. Oh, my buns are warm. We could fix that problem for just $18 a month. A monthly subscription to heat your BMW's front seats costs roughly $18, with options to subscribe for a year for $180, 3 years, $300, or you can pay for unlimited access for $415. It's not clear exactly when BMW started offering this feature as a subscription or in which countries, but a number of outlets this week reported spotting its launch in South Korea. BMW has been slowly putting features behind subscriptions since 2020. Apparently no one noticed. And heated seats subs are now available in BMW's digital stores in countries including the UK, Germany, New Zealand, South Africa. Doesn't seem to be an option in the US yet. Oh my gosh, yeah, look at this. What? BMW safety camera information starting at £25 a month. Driving assistant, £35 a month. High beam assistance, which will automatically switch your high beams on and off when you're driving, £10 a month. And then we have some service options and that type of thing. But there was another one to use your cruise control, which was like £60 a month. There was one for you're using your heated steering wheel for £12 a month. Am I out of my mind? Adam Broussard's got a very aggressive yeah, which I don't think means yes. I think that means that he's getting extremely aggro over this story.
I mean, some of this stuff makes a little bit of sense, like, for instance, the safety camera information, right? I mean, what is that? That's basically telling you where there's traffic light cameras or whatever, But it also says £25, which is quite a bit of money. And also that data is available through Apple Maps and Google Maps too, right? It's stuff like that where it's like, I mean, it's a little bit like how, if you have like a smart doorbell, right, which has video and then you pay a certain amount per year for them to store the data and keep track of it. That kind of stuff makes sense. Saying like you've got seat heaters in your car and we're going to charge you to use them, that is nuts. That is insane.
I mean, I get it. If you're going to charge me a monthly fee because you're giving me a service of some kind, I get that. I don't like that, but I get that. But charging you to use a piece of equipment that's installed in your car, that is totally nuts. And I can't imagine that people are going to go for this. I can't believe that this is going to become something that is ubiquitous in the car world, because who would pay for this? Who would pay for this?
What if I mean, maybe if they gave you the car for free and then you start saying, okay, well, I guess I'll go ahead and spring for the, engine mode so I can go somewhere in it.
Would you like to use the engine in your car? That would be $100 a month. I mean, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if this model was like, hey, we're going to give you all the options in this car for free. Like, BMWs now just cost one price. It's $100,000. You get all the options built in, and if you want to use
$25,000.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, I like that price more, especially because you're going to spend another $25,000 fixing it, and that's just in the first year. But if you got all the features for free, okay, then I can understand them nickel and diming you. But that doesn't seem like the way this works. It seems like you're going to pay for your heated seats package, and then if you want to use them, you have to pay BMW a monthly fee, which is one of the zaniest ideas I've heard in the world of tech, because I just don't know who would pay for this. I mean, if you did this in the U.S., there would be a mutiny. People would be burning their BMWs in the street.
There's no way that it costs them anything for that to work, right? I mean, it's weird. I mean, who came up with this? What? Sounds like somebody,
some
you
marketing
hear
guru.
There was somebody, completely high on crack cocaine in this meeting, and they're like, "Oh no, this is great. We charge people everything. This is great."
Maybe they hired.
Don't say it.
You know what? I'm not gonna say it. But you probably all know who I'm talking about. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and start the music, Lewis. Thank you for stopping me, protecting me from myself. That's it, my friends. That's all the Coldcast we have for you guys this week. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. But you know what? The party continues. We're both on Twitter. I'm at Erfon, ERFWin. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. This has been the Coldcast, the best 30-plus minute app conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the Coldcast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening live, hanging out, and for listening at home. We will see you guys next time. I'm so glad I sold my BMW, Lewis.
Never
that
owned
thing
one.
was a money pit. A pit. A bottomless pit of repairs. Zany things that would never break on any other car.
I have a 21-year-old truck that is just now starting to become that. That's like every week it's a different thing that doesn't work. I've spent the past couple of weeks trying to figure out what part is wrong in the smog system. It's driving me crazy.
I know how that goes. All right, my friends. I'm hurtling towards the end stream button as we speak. Look, we have more viewers here now than we did at any point in the show. Because they're here for the best part, the ending.
They heard the crack cocaine reference.
My shout out to Chairman Hunter Biden. It's a great feature you thought of.
Speaking of $1 million consultancies.
All right, all. That's it. Have a great weekend. Ciao.
See you. Ciao.
Ciao.
After Europe. Ooh, quick fade.